evening. Thank you for joining us. A wave of callers reporting false school shootings swept across New York State today.
Those calls forcing local police to respond to some schools in our area. Brockport High School and Brighton High School both fell victim to these threats, which police say are not credible. An important note there. There were similar calls threatening schools in Syracuse, Buffalo, and Albany today. These are some of the images from some of those responses. New York State police say they are aware of the influx of calls and also say there have been no credible threats. That being said, Sergeant John Ninfo with State Police in Rochester, he says credible or not, a threat cannot be ignored.
If you have a kid in that school, if you're in that school soon, absolutely not. It's just as fearful from one to the next. You get that call, we have a job to do, we'll do it. We're not fearful of it, we're prepared to do it. And it's real until we prove it otherwise.
According to officials, it is unclear whether these calls are connected in any way. We're also told it's unclear where the phone calls are coming from, and all this is being investigated by officials from the local level all the way up to federal agencies now. And New York is not alone. These threats have been cropping up around the country over the last few days after the shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, where 6 people, including 3 students, were killed. And as we mentioned, 2 schools in our area were targeted by these calls, Brighton and Brockport High Schools.
Mackenzie Mislin has details about the threat at Brockport. She joins us from the newsroom. Mackenzie, parents are understandably concerned when they hear about these messages. What did you learn today?
Yes, Adam and Teresa, school leaders and law enforcement say these threats are all about causing chaos and instilling fear. They said Brockport High School got a call claiming an active shooter was inside the building this morning.
Just days after the Hilton bomb threats, a different type of threat, swatting, targeted multiple schools in Monroe County. MCSO's Brendan Hurley says this time in the form of phone calls, stating an active shooter is inside the building.
We were notified about mid-morning that there was a call to the Brockport High School for some kind of shooter. We worked with the Brockport School District to ensure the safety of all the students, teachers, and staff.
According to Hurley, the students were put in a hold in place until the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Brockport Police, and SUNY Police could investigate the building. He says the issue isn't just a local one.
This is a statewide thing that everybody's dealing with. Because you have to remember, with these swatting calls, they want to create that sense of urgency. They want to say there's something happening right now, and they want to get everybody there as quick as they can. So they didn't go into specifics of anything else.
It's unclear whether the threat to Brockport is linked to the one in Brighton, any of the swatting phone calls across the state, or last week's bomb threat in Hilton. The Hilton superintendent is also the president of the Monroe County Council of Superintendents. He says whether the threat is connected or not, they will do their best to ensure the safety of all students and staff within their school districts.
You send your child off to school and you want them to be safe and you want them to learn and have positive experiences. And now, unfortunately, people from outside are, for whatever reason, wanting to disrupt and cause fear in our schools.
Hurley wants students to know if they see deputies walking through their halls or driving around their school, it's all in an effort to keep them safe. Coming up at 6, we'll share how school districts are working to update their emergency plans in an event a threat shows itself. Teresa?
Mackenzie, thank you. As you mentioned, a similar threat played out at Brighton High School today. School officials say the threat was called into the New York State Police. The caller claiming an active shooter was inside that school. A shelter in place was put in order as the police checked and quickly deemed it was not a credible threat. Brighton police say preparation and coordination helped them to respond quickly.
It certainly taxes us as far as our resources go, but like I said, we're lucky enough to partner with agencies around us that can step in and take up that service that needs to be done. We're prepared for that, and we're prepared for worse. So we handle each situation like it's real.
Woodward says the department will provide whatever extra security resources the school needs for the remainder of this week. And speaking of school safety, coming up at 5:30, we have a full report from the state capitol on a recent evaluation of public safety in schools.